Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. So, Tua Tagovailoa is back in the concussion protocol again. I didn't want to talk about it yesterday, and there's a lot of quarterback stuff out there that doesn't really make any sense to me. But this one seems to be the tip of the iceberg. Or not the tip of the iceberg, excuse me. It seems to be the tip of the spear. Right? So many weeks ago, a lot of people came on. Not just me, but a lot of people came on after Tua had that second concussion that they didn't take care of him on the first time when he had the concussion, and he had the second concussion. A lot of us came on and said, hey, Tua might want to sit down for the rest of the season. Now, again, I understand that me talking to an athlete, telling an athlete that he should sit down for the rest of the season is foolhardy. Why? Because if you're really a competitor, it's in our DNA to play. That's how we've been bred. Tua, coming from where he comes from, the family background, I know he has been bred to play through whatever. It's an old school mentality. More of the new age players don't have that old school mentality, and thank goodness for it. When it comes to matters of lifelong sustainability, right? You play through an ankle injury, your life expectancy doesn't drop. You play through a knee injury, a shoulder injury, a hip, your life expectancy doesn't drop. Now, your health, how those last 10, 15 years go might diminish because you're dealing with the after effects of an injury you did not properly rest when it happened. So that's something. But when it comes to the brain, when it comes to your head, when it comes to your organs, things that can kill you, you got to sit your ass down. You have to sit down. You have to stop. You have to reevaluate on whether or not I should be doing this beyond. Because when something can kill you, you have to stop and go, wait a minute. This can kill me. Now, as an athlete, it is difficult for us to do this. We've worked our entire lives to get to this point. Remember, even though Tua was a first-round draft pick, a high draft pick, it doesn't change the fact that with the rookie wage scale, just getting to the NFL is not good enough. You have to get to the first re-up. You have to get that first $100 million plus contract that changes the life of you and the families to come. That's where you have to get in Florida, where there's no state tax. So you're not getting hit twice on your money. You're only getting hit once on it. You have got to take that into consideration, that Tua is trying to get to that first major bag. So I don't expect him to want to sit it down, to give it up. Right? I don't expect him to do that. But the coaching staff and the front office, the administration of the Dolphins, they have a responsibility to protect Tua Tagovailoa from himself. Hey, Tua, you're not mentally able to make this decision. Your decision is clouded. You are clouded for a good. We don't even blame you for not being able to make this decision, Tua. Don't worry about it. You won't have to. You're going to sit down for the rest of the year. You're going to sit down for 6 weeks. You're going to sit down for 8 weeks. You're going to take a significant amount of time off before you come back and play football. They didn't do that. They didn't do that on the first concussion. They didn't do that on the second concussion. And now we're at concussion number 3. You really don't think that the decisions that had to do with concussion number 1 and concussion number 2 didn't play into concussion number 3 happening? If it's not an if, we know that something was off in the evaluation of Tua because they fired the independent doctor. We know something was off. The firing shouldn't stop there. They may never find a legitimate piece of evidence to support that the coaching staff and Josh McDaniels, not Josh McDaniels or Mike McDaniel, and the front office knew that Tua was compromised and put him back out there, or pushed aside the fact that Tua could possibly be compromised and put him back out there. But if they ever found legitimate evidence, they should all be fired. I personally believe they should all be fired right now. Right now, you should go into the office and say, Mike McDaniel, thank you. We think you have a future. You could have been good, but you're fired. You can't put people's lives in jeopardy. I don't care how he looks at these press conferences. I don't believe a word of what he says because I believe that he did the plausible deniability thing. It's on brand. Plausible deniability. Well, I didn't know, so I can't be held responsible. Ladies and gentlemen, I coach in high school football. I coach high school football by choice, not by force. I could play the college game if I really wanted to. I'm pretty sure that I could have finagled my way and figured out a way to work hard enough to get into an NFL position somewhere. You can call it whatever you want. That's not what I wanted to do. That's not where I wanted to be on a coaching side. I'm in high school football. And you know what in high school football we have to do because we don't always have like athletic trainers and people at every single venue that we go to, at every single practice that we're at because the resources aren't there. We have to use our own judgment. And in my case, if there is any doubt about somebody's health and well-being when it comes to their head, we take helmet, you sit down. Oh, but coach, I'm good. Hey, I get it. You sit down. Hey, coach, I'm feeling lightheaded. Oh, word? Give me a helmet. Go sit down. We are constantly in a situation where we need to be evaluating what these young men are doing, how these young men are comporting themselves, and we don't have doctors and people who are hired, and that is their only job. So you're telling me, Mike McDaniel, that you as a coach are sitting there, you coach, you work directly with the quarterback, you have a great relationship with the quarterback, you're watching him intently. You are looking at what he does in the game and in live time. You're not seeing this man take these shots, fall and smack his head on the ground. You don't have somebody going to you, hey man, Tua just hit his head on the ground again. And the proof du jour that I came on here the other day and talked about is right there in front of you. The performance precipitously dropped after one particular hit. He tries to leave the pocket. He gets brought down. He turns the back of his head, concussion territory, the back of his head slaps off the ground. After that, he could not hit the broadside of a barn. Nobody at any point in that game said, hey, man, Tua seems off. After the first interception, where the guy is running and he doesn't throw the ball anywhere near where the guy is, nobody stopped and said, wow, that's not like Tua. Because it's not like Tua. If Tua has any knocks, it is not accuracy, especially on short routes. Every single route he threw an interception on was a short route. It was a quick throw. It wasn't a deep bomb where it went up and two guys could go for it. So you're telling me that with the 50 personnel people that you have with their eyes on the field during a football game, with all of these coaches, with the head coach, with the quarterback's coach who looks just at the quarterback, with the offensive line coach who's looking at the box, with a defensive line coach who's probably looking at the box, with the offensive quality control guy, the defensive quality control guy, the athletic trainers, the assistant athletic trainers, all of the people, all of the medical personnel, and an independent source whose sole purpose is to look for these issues. Nobody saw this man hit the ground and went, man, he just smacked his head off the ground. Maybe we should check him out. Why? Because we have a competent backup. We have a guy who's been a starter in this league as a backup who can come in and even if we don't think he's Tua, we know he's better than their backups. We know that he can get the job done. And what is he not going to do? Because that's not what he's ever done. He's not going to turn the ball over. Because that's not what Teddy Bridgewater does. So we have this and we don't put it in place. And now we're sitting here and this man had to self-report. Congratulations, Tua, on finally self-reporting. He had to self-report. I don't want to hear about we didn't know. I don't want to hear about, oh, well, everybody should be fired right now. I don't really need the hard evidence. To me, the hard evidence is obvious. It's obvious. Either you knew and you covered it up or you're incompetent. Either you knew and you covered it up or you're incompetent. Either way, we got to go. Oh, I don't care that the future is bright. Guess what? These players are here. That's why the future's bright. I just brought a new coach in who supposedly was supposed to make the offense so much better. And the offense is better, but the defense is worse. So now we have the same record as we had with the other guy that all you people said was horrible. Guess what I believe in my heart? And I think with my mind, I believe in my heart. I don't believe that last coach would have allowed Tua to come back into the game. Now, some of y'all are saying, well, it's because he doesn't like Tua. Who cares? Tua still gets to live. Who cares? Who gives a damn about the why? I care about the result. And that's that man not being on the field. If I was just a Johnny-come-lately, you know what? You could say, he don't know what he's talking about. You stick to whatever. That's what y'all do when y'all don't like what I say. You tell me to stick to something else, right? But here's the truth. The truth is, I do this exact job as a coach every single day. My thought process has to be on the health and well-being of those men that are out there. I take that job seriously, regardless of the level of coach I am. If I'm an assistant coach, no. If I'm looking. If I'm a coordinator, I'm looking. If I'm the head coach, I'm looking. If I'm the athletic director, I'm looking. I'm looking. It matters to me. How can it not matter to you at the NFL level when you've got millions of dollars invested in this young man and you have a staff big enough to where none of this should ever fly under the radar? Some of the stuff that we as media people and as fans allow these coaches to get away with not being good at is baffling to me. It is mind-boggling. We allow the level of ineptitude that would have this man go out there and being exposed to a third concussion in a season. Without proper time. And we don't even know the time, but we know time works. We don't know how much time, but we know time works. Give that man time, he can get over some things. I've seen a guy get hit in the head with a baseball, with a helmet on, be out for the whole baseball season. Nobody bats an eye at it. Nobody bats an eye at it. An NFL collision, an NFL hit is a car crash. If Tua got in a car crash and hit his head and was out for 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, 8 to 12 weeks, nobody would bat an eye at it. Yet people are just saying, "Oh, y'all aren't doctors. You don't know any better." Shame on you. Shame on you guys. You want to win that bad? You don't have any money invested in the Dolphins. You're not a Dolphins stockholder. You're just a fan and you're willing to sacrifice this man's well-being to win a game? Shame on you. When will we learn? This is not Rome. That is not the Colosseum. These are not gladiators. We're not here to watch the death and dismemberment of these people. There's a level of violence and a level of potential injury that comes with the game once you're playing it. So once he's playing, we can't go, okay, well, he's playing now. He's playing now. We get it. But you don't have to put him in the game. You don't have to put him out there. He doesn't have to put himself out there. But this is a decision that you got to take. You got to take him away from it. We have years upon years upon years of evidence to show that the player doesn't make the right decision in these cases. Now, it's partly contradictory on my part because I'll come on here and call somebody soft for not playing through an injury. But that injury doesn't kill them. That injury doesn't kill them. The game of life is not over if the injury gets worse. But in the case of a concussion, the game of life is over if one thing goes wrong. If one thing goes wrong, don't give me this, "Oh, well, you out here professing to know better than the medical professionals." You goddamn right I do. I am 42 years old. I have been involved with football my entire life. In one way or another, I have been involved in this game my entire life. I've been a player, I've been a coach, I've been an evaluator, I've been a fan. I have been involved with this game for longer than many of the people who be talking all that rah-rah has been alive. I've lived long enough to say that statement, and I'm proud of it. So don't give me this BS about, oh, well, you can't make a... I know football, my guy. I also read. I'm pretty smart. I read. I'm kind of a nerd. I read. I listen to experts. You won't find an expert alive that won't tell you the same thing that I told you right now. That guy should have never been back on the field. We can't predict these things. It's unpredictable. He could go out there and be fine, but he could go out there and get a third concussion. Guess what? We don't want to take that chance. But if he had sat out 6 weeks and 8 weeks and he went back out there and got a third concussion, at least we could say, hey, we sat him down for 6 weeks. Everything looked great. We sat him down for 8 weeks. Everything looked great. This is just unfortunate. And now you've got people saying he should shut it down forever. I'm not going to say that. The brain is elastic. I don't know how it snaps back. I don't know how his will snap back. I'm not saying he needs to sit down forever. I don't want to see him again this year on the field. I don't need to see this coaching staff or this front office ever again. And that's a shame, because that points to a gentleman in the front office that I believe has done a great job of assembling a team. That is with someone that I believe has done a great job of assembling a team. But they got to go, man. You can't be putting these dudes out here like that with all of the resources in the world, with all the money in the world. You got all the money in the world. The salary cap only inhibits you from paying players. But you can add as many coaches and personnel staff. You look down on the NFL sideline during the game. Look at how many people are on the sideline that are not players, that are personnel. Nobody's looking out. Everybody missed it. Come on. Go to a regular job. Go to a regular job. Have somebody get hurt, and then go, none of y'all saw this? None of y'all had a clue? Somebody's getting fired. We got to start holding people more accountable on the things that matter more than wins and losses. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Until next time, peace.